What's up? Welcome to the post fight. It's your boy Carcino here, and let's get into it. Shall we? Now, as I told you, this fight would go to the cards. And it did. And Lomo did enough to win. He was the harder puncher, and it played out just the way I thought it would. Pedraza was thinking too much in this fight. He had a lot of rounds he won, and he made Lomachenko look really bad with his movement. Just little slight movement. He expended a lot of energy, but Pedraza made him think. This is one of the hardest fights he ever had to take. He got hurt in like round 7 with a body shot. Round 10, man, that was a big round for Pedraza. But Pedraza burnt so much energy. Pedraza burnt so much energy early on. The fight winded up being a very tight contest because of it. Now, early on, they were trading rounds. Lomachenko looked bad because he's coming off surgery on his right arm, his right shoulder. Plus, Pedraza's tough. Pedraza's nailing him with his length and keeping him at a distance. Lomo thing was to get his timing down, and when Pedraza come with a lazy touch jab with the right hand, he comes over it, and he comes out and counters it with a lead left. And he was throwing the lead left with power. Now, he's very solid puncher at this weight class. Pedraza's not. Pedraza's a counter puncher and breaks you down with boxing and attrition. That's his game. Pedraza was fatigued at that time because he did not listen to his corner and didn't tie up. He was trying to be so brave, he didn't tie up. He was getting hit a lot. Of course, Lomo was getting hit a lot, but the punches didn't really have an effect on him. He knew he could deal with Pedraza's power, so he was just picking his spots when he was just going to pressure him, and just keep peppering him with power shots. So all the telling shots were landed by Lomo. Even though Pedraza was in the fight and was winning the majority of the rounds, Lomo had the more telling shots. The shots you see the heads flying back. So it made judges score the fight. It could have went either way. He could have stole a lot of rounds from Pedraza just by that alone. To me, I gave Pedraza 4 rounds in the fight. I think I gave him round 2. If I'm not mistaken, either round 1 or round 2. It was like 3-1. Then he won like 7, round 7 and 8, and he won 10. So he won like 4 rounds in the fight. But when you get knocked down twice in the 11th round, that pretty much sealed the deal for the night. So, like I said, great moment for Pedraza. Can he beat Mikey Garcia? And I think Mikey's a little too big. But they were supposed to fight. But Mikey's going to fight Arrow. Then he says he's going to fight Lomachenko still. And I don't know if that's a good move for him. Yeah, all of a sudden, no one talks about that no more. Plus, Tank would have to probably move up to fight Lomo, and I think Tank's going to stick with 130. He need to be trying to fight Tevin Farmer. But who knows how that's going to go. It was high-speed chess. A lot of the things he did went unnoticed. Pedraza landed a lot of body shots on Lomachenko. Or Lomachenko. I mean, what more do they want from Lomachenko? Look who all he's faced. This man fought Gary Russell Jr. Nobody faces Gary Russell Jr. and beats him. He destroyed Gary Russell Jr. He beats Toledo. Well, I thought he won that fight, and they gave him the loss. Rigondeaux, Gary Russell Jr., already on his resume, and he beat Pedraza. And people are doubting his resume, and he's only got, what, 13 fights as a pro? Well, Pedraza landed the body shots and put in a lot of work and added a lot of the attrition, and him keeping Lomo at the end of his jab and using his distance. It was making it difficult for Lomo to get to him with the body shots. So it gave Pedraza the advantage. 119-107 is incorrect. That's a homer. That's a Lomo judge. That guy was there to not watch the fight, and too bad he missed one. Because the face of Lomo tells you this wasn't a 119-107 fight. Lomachenko was breaking Pedraza down with straight shots, straight uppercuts on the inside. Once Pedraza got sloppy, he got hurt, he started doing unnecessary movement instead of tying up. And he was getting his bell rung. So, at this point, he's confused. And when you're confused and you're hurt, you tie up. I gave Pedraza 4 rounds. Somebody gave him 3. Another person may have gave him 3. Andre Ward gave him 3. Or maybe 4 in the fight himself. So he put up a better fight than Rigondeaux or everybody else. And I told him, I was like, this will be his toughest fight. Because Pedraza's going to make him have to think. Lomo made this fight harder than what he really had. He was trying to save it and pick his moments and get some activity in rather than push and press for the knockout. His corner wanted him to relax and take the punches while they're there, but don't shoot your load. Like he did in the 11th round, he thought the fight was going to be over. He ran out of time, and then they went to the 12th round. A lot of people feel Tank can beat him. That Tank got the style and the power to be able to beat Lomachenko. Lomachenko would fight Tank. Tank would have to move up to fight him. But the thing is, you don't know which Tank you're gonna get. Are you gonna get the Tank that's in shape and dedicated and ready to go, or are you gonna get the Tank that's throwing one punch at a time? Because that guy will get destroyed and knocked out by Lomachenko. Well, what we all search for is stability. We search for perfection. We search for who's the aggressor. We search for all these different things. And boxing is so much going on at one time that you can never really understand. It's like high-speed chess, buddy. High-speed chess. And Lomo wasn't running in because he had to beware of Pedraza's style. You see, Pedraza's style forces Lomo to have to stay out. He's keeping him at bay with the jab and his distance. His distance is so damaging because he's able to keep him there with a jab. And he's got to think of a way to get around it because he's leery about being caught with a counter shot. Most of this comes from the previous fight he had, and that was against Linares. When he got caught with that straight right, I think that psychologically was in the back of his head, like, okay, I got to be really careful. I don't want to get caught. So he was very cautious. He rarely threw a right hook. Right hook, which means he would have to be in the firing line to throw that right hook. And he didn't want to throw that right hook. None that night. Because he didn't want to get caught with a counter straight right down the pipe. Pedraza's a switch hitter. He switches from southpaw to conventional and back. He's changing angles. But that's energy draining. You got to use effective aggressiveness. And sometimes it was just too much movement. It's like, you don't need all this movement. It's going to make you, it's not going to, you're working against yourself. See, this is what they call on the line. Both guys on their firing lines. Pedraza's on the firing line. Lomo's in his firing line. Which means that he's ready to slip a punch, catch it, and deliver and do whatever he wants. And so is Pedraza. Now, if you look at the footwork, you can see that Lomo is ready to shoot the punch whenever he wants. He could slip and come inside and get close. He's in the striking distance. And this is not where Pedraza wants Lomo to be, without no punch in between. You got to have a punch out there, or he could just waltz right in and do whatever it is that he wants to do. Lomo faced like that because he sacrificed his face. He sacrificed his face in this situation because he knew what was going on. Well, Lomo knew he would be hit and hit a lot in this fight. Facing Pedraza, you're gonna get hit, but it's like Pedraza throws stuff off speed. It's like throwing an off speed pitch. He'll throw something 40 and 50 all night, then here comes a 70 right down the middle. So you gotta be leery of the fact that he's a striker. He can strike like a cobra at any moment and you'll be on the canvas. So you have to always respect Pedraza. Now, as the fight was going on in the middle rounds, he had to wait to get his second win because he had did so much switching and moving his feet and keeping jabs out there, just staying busy. He wasn't really effective, but he was busy. So if Lomo didn't do too much, he would lose the round. But if he landed a couple of big shots, they'll give the round to Lomo. And he knew that. So he was still in rounds. Oh, they've already talked about the fight. I got an interview with Bob Arum on here. Bob Arum's all ready to make the fight. They've already come to terms of agreement on the fight between Mikey Garcia and Lomachenko. Those two want to fight each other. They already worked out an agreement. Well, that's the next best thing, isn't it? Yeah, well, it beats like that sometimes. Well, Pedraza's posture started to change. From his legs, you could tell he was in trouble. Mm, mm, mm. Well, there you go. Place your bet then if you think Tank gonna be ready for that fight with Tevin Farmer. Yeah, Star gonna be by himself because I'm gonna be nice and knocked out sleep. I've had such a busy night tonight. But the bigger question is who is next for Lomachenko? And what is next for Pedraza? Mm-hmm. I guess so.